All right, we are back. Welcome back to Calhoun County's Most Wanted, the program where you get to help make Calhoun County a better and safer place for all of us by helping us lock up the bad guys. Hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving. Sheriff, you have a good Thanksgiving?
Oh man, I had a great Thanksgiving. I ate way too much. I know nobody else did that. But, you know, it was a good time to be around my parents and mother's home cooking and just a good time to relax.
Yeah, we got to spend a little bit of time with family here on Thanksgiving and then spent the weekend down at the Gulf Coast with some other family.
It's a terrible place to be.
Yeah?
Terrible place to be.
You know, we were out wading in the water with 75 degrees and sunshine and looking at people that were freezing cold.
You know, the Gulf Coast was a great place to be, good relaxing, and you know, I didn't get those opportunities, but I did get opportunities to go in the woods and hunt with my son, and that's something we always do together, and making those memories, and I had just a real relaxing good time, so it was good.
And of course, after Thanksgiving or even on Thanksgiving, a lot of folks doing a lot of shopping, and we need to make sure that everybody's as safe as they can be.
Absolutely. You know, this time of year people are spending lots of money buying those perfect gifts for people, and we want to make sure they keep what they buy, that nobody steals that from them. And if they're like me, if somebody steals something from me, I don't know how I'd replace it. You know, there's only so much money in the budget, and people work hard for their money. So we will make sure you keep it, you know, and that goes with your home and out shopping. You know, if you're going out shopping somewhere, keep your doors locked to your car. Don't just leave your purse, computers, phones, valuables, presents just out in the open for people to see. That's what they look for. They look for those easy targets. Just like having things delivered to your home, you know, it don't take much to have your little camera on the front porch or something, and those things really deter people.
We'll see that in our Crime Stoppers segment a little bit later on in the show, where somebody had something taken off their porch.
You know, in the day's world of technology, for $30 you can get a camera and you can put it on your front porch, and if somebody steals it, at least you'll have a picture of who did it, which really helps us. And you know, being just aware of your surroundings and what you're doing and things you're leaving out. Don't leave them low-hanging fruit. Keep your doors locked to your car. Don't leave things out where people can see them.
Don't make it easy for them.
Don't make it easy for them.
We've got a couple of videos on the Sheriff's Office Facebook page that have some tips for both the shopping out at the stores and also for shopping online, so you might want to check those out on our Facebook page. All right, let's take a look now at what our viewers have done in the last week.
Hey, they've never let us down, Chris, and I appreciate that. They bring our count up to 4,492 people put in jail, all because somebody was willing to help us out. This is a partnership, and I appreciate everything that y'all do.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have the first half of this week's lineup on Calhoun County's Most Wanted. All right, let's get started with this week's lineup on Calhoun County's Most Wanted. If you recognize someone in this lineup and know where we can find them, please call Calhoun County Crime Stoppers. And remember that we want your information, not your name. Alexandria Surratt of Ohatchee is wanted on a failure to appear warrant for use and possession of drug paraphernalia. Tarika Brewer of Talladega wanted on a probation violation for theft of property, 3rd degree, shoplifting. Maureen Shannon of Piedmont wanted on a failure to appear warrant for negotiating with a non-negotiable instrument, passing bad checks. Mary George of Talladega wanted on a probation violation for the chemical endangerment of a child. Tristan Harris of Anniston wanted on a probation violation for obstruction of justice using a false ID. Patricia Bearden of Weogufka is wanted for a probation violation for possession of a controlled substance and use and possession of drug paraphernalia. And Thomas Hallman of Heflin wanted on a failure to appear warrant for possession of a controlled substance, use and possession of drug paraphernalia, driving under the influence of a controlled substance, and illegal possession of prescription drugs. We'll have more of our Most Wanted list coming up in just a few minutes. All right, we'll have the second half of this week's lineup coming up in just a few minutes, but Sheriff, it's time to welcome our guests onto the show.
Always glad to have you.
We got Kathleen Saucier and David Flounders from Samson's Strength Sustainable Veterans Project. Is that right?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
All right, so that's a bit of a mouthful. What is it?
I'll let her
You
start.
want me to start?
I'll let her
So
start.
Samson's Strength Sustainable Veterans Project is, we're building transitional housing for veterans. Our goal is to prevent homelessness There's many programs out there for chronic homelessness. Our goal is to prevent that. And it's transitional housing for veterans with a thought of 9 to 18 months for them to be able to get back on their feet, be able to learn some vocational skills, get connected to the VA for their medical benefits as well as their also disability benefits if possible, and get into a job and get the support that they need.
So it's not permanent housing,
No.
but it's long enough that you really have an opportunity to get things in order. Because, you know, if you just got a place to lay your head for a couple of weeks, you're not going to be able to fix your problems, are you?
It's not enough, right? And so that's the other part. We want to be able to build a sense of community, but also, I'm a civilian. I worked for the Department of Defense for years. That's how I met Dave, who's a veteran. But it's basically to get you that connection back with the community and then reintegrating back into the community. You're right, a few weeks is not enough. And a lot of what we see or what we saw together when we were working in the military was that young men and women, and our target population is men, they would come home and they'd be living on someone's couch or they'd be living in a basement, and then they'd get in trouble, out of a van, out of a car or vehicle. They'd get in trouble because they had too much idle time, didn't know what to do with themselves. And so our goal is to get them engaged in something as quickly as possible when they come back.
So, David, how do we provide this housing?
We've been getting grants from both the Daniel Foundation, from the Home Depot. The Widow's Sons here in the state have provided quite a bit of funding for us as well as what we provide ourselves. We purchased the property that we're putting it on, which is 16 acres. Kathy's dad passed away last year, and what was left is what we purchased that 16 acres with. That's how we fund most of it, and a lot of it's asking. And we go out and ask. And part of it is like today. Today's Giving Tuesday. Hashtag Giving Tuesday Military, which Kathy brought up earlier, this is the first year they're doing it. And we're ambassadors for that. And they're going to have we have folks coming out to our property at 1 o'clock to work and volunteer their time.
That's great. So for anybody that's thinking, I know somebody that needs this kind of housing, what exactly are we talking about with this housing?
I'm not sure what you're asking.
Well, what kind of housing, if somebody says, okay, I want to get into this, this is something that could help me or someone I know, what can they expect?
The house itself is 20 by 17.2. It's 256 square feet. It's the size of an efficiency apartment, and that's basically what it is, but it's a house. It's not barracks or anything else. It's individual houses, because we've done enough barracks living. I did 31 years in the military. I have no interest in doing any more barracks living. I want my own place. And that's part of what we thought of when we did this. We're building 30 houses out there, and then we'll be building a community center as well. The community center we're aiming for is about 9,000 square feet with a 3,000 square foot footprint, 3 levels.
Now, is individual housing there, is that part of the issue for some veterans, that they've been in the barracks and such, and it's a different style of life for them that they need to get adjusted to?
Yes, it is, and that's part of what we're doing with the case management program, what Kathy came up with, is it's designed to help them go out, purchase food appropriately, learn to actually live by themselves. The military does great supplying for you and taking care of you. Now they got to take care of themselves, and that's the transition.
Sheriff, I know that's one of the toughest things for you and your deputies when you're going out there doing your job and you have to interact with a veteran that you know deserves better than the situation that they're in, but you also have to do your job, and sometimes it's just not pleasant. It's
not pleasant, and you know, but Calhoun County is doing very well with Veterans Court. Judge Brian Howe has a Veterans Court where if a veteran qualifies for it, if it gets in trouble and they qualify for his program, they go through the Veterans Court, and he helps them get their life back on track. And it's not just a short-term thing either. It's something that structured, and it's a pretty long-term program where hopefully when they complete that, their life will be back on track and their criminal part will be behind them, and they can move on like it didn't happen.
And that's what we actually presented there this morning to Veterans Court, because part of it is, you know, in Veterans Court, one of their requirements is to do community service time. And so we thought, wouldn't this be great if we could provide a community service opportunity for them in our nonprofit, get them out there, I can support with some things as well to coordinate with the court system as well as the mentors that do that. But also, some of them are struggling with living on someone's couch. You know, if you're living on someone's couch, technically, are you qualified as homelessness or access to homeless services? It's hard to get them that, isn't it? And you guys know because you deal with that all the time. But part of what we can do is provide that opportunity for them to give them a place to stay, to be able to transition back while they're going through that process of the court system.
All right. Well, we need to take a quick break, but I want to dig into this a little bit deeper if you guys can stick around. We will be back in just a few moments. We'll have the second half of this week's lineup and learn more about Samson's Strength Sustainable Veterans Project here on Calhoun County's Most Wanted. All right, here we go with the second half of this week's lineup on Calhoun County's Most Wanted. Deshaun Jackson of Talladega is wanted on a failure to appear warrant for domestic violence, third-degree assault. David Crane of Piedmont wanted for failure to comply with a court order on the charges of possession of a controlled substance, possession of a forged instrument, theft of property, third degree, and use and possession of drug paraphernalia. Jerry Betts of East Aboga wanted for promoting prison contraband, second degree. Keandra Morgan of Anniston wanted on a probation violation for robbery, third degree. Jefferson Worrell of Anniston wanted on bond revocation for possession of a controlled substance and use and possession of drug paraphernalia. Carlos Glenn of Lineville is wanted for domestic violence, third degree. If you have any information about any of these individuals and where we can locate them, please contact Calhoun County Crime Stoppers at 256-238-1414. We want your information, not your name, and you could get a cash reward of up to $1,000. All right, we are back. Kathleen and Dave have been telling us about Samson's Strength Sustainable Veterans Project, and we've been talking about housing so far, but it's more than just providing housing, right, Dave? You're talking about vocational skills and also skills to be able to help provide for yourself.
Yes. Part of it is a vocational training. We have a 115-acre working farm. We've got a 20 by 100 foot greenhouse where we can start plants, move stuff out to the field, grow it. And then at the end, part of what we're doing with the community centers, we're putting a commercial kitchen in there so that we can stuff and be able to sell it locally. Part of the issue is you have to have a commercial kitchen in order to sell stuff at the supermarket. So that's what we want to get to in the long run, and train people on that. The other thing with a farm is you have a lot of machinery on a farm, so you have to learn equipment maintenance. We have animals, so you have animal husbandry. So that's part of the farm. We also run a DJ and KJ service. I've been doing that since 2005, which is karaoke, for those who don't know which KJ is.
Yeah.
And then we also have a leather shop in Ashland, which we can build just about anything. We can make you just about anything.
All right, so let's step back here for a second here. So your favorite karaoke song?
Margaritaville.
All right, Kathleen?
God bless the USA. Come on.
I open all my shows when I do that with God Bless the USA.
He does,
but
yes.
Margaritaville and then Harry Chapin,
Yeah,
Cats in the Cradle.
this sounds like a pretty fun place to be here. We've got
I'm very interested.
we've got some real housing. We've got skills that we're learning and being able to provide for ourselves. And we've got karaoke going on, and
Yeah.
yeah. So this really does sound like you're providing not everything, but you're providing a community.
Yes.
Yes, that's our plan. We encourage people to go onto our website, sssvp.org, and look at what our case management plan is, what we came up with. And it was based on my experience working in community mental health for years and seeing people struggling with depression, PTSD, anxiety, substance abuse. And how do we get people re-engaged in something, feeling like they're alive instead of just stuck?
Right.
And so that's part of what we talk about in our case management plan is that, when you're stuck in the role of being a warrior, it's hard to come back. We do a great job teaching them and training them to go away to war, but we don't do a great job teaching them how to come back to home. And so how do we get you back and still be a warrior, still have a mission, still have a purpose? Part of what Dave talked about, we're building 30 homes, but our plan is to do it in small pockets of the homes, so like 5 or 6 homes together, so we have like a little unit or a cohort, and they go together, throughout the whole process. That's the plan. and support each other. And we also want to bring in, there's a lot of older veterans in our community that are stuck at home, and so we want to be able to engage them and say, hey, could you go take him to the VA and have one of our guys take an older guy to the VA, and get them engaged and back into the community.
Because Clay County is a volunteer county of Alabama.
Yeah.
So
And that's where you're located, is in
yes,
Clay
we are
County.
in Clay County,
All right,
just
so-
outside of Lineville, south of on 49.
Obviously, we want to raise awareness with the people that need the services that you're providing.
Right.
But we also really want to make sure that folks that don't need these services and have some comforts are able to say, you know what, that sounds like something that we really need and I want to support it. Like, we need that commercial kitchen, and there are other things that I know you need to be able to continue and grow what you're doing. So if people want to support you, how can they do that?
Well, we have a bunch of ways to support. And so one of the things I do want to mention, we are an all volunteer organization. None of us take a salary, everyone volunteers. All of our funds go directly to materials, to build the homes, to build the community center. So there's many ways. You can shop on Amazon and go on to Amazon Smile, and it's as easy as a click. You could just put in Samson's Strength, and Amazon automatically donates to us. You don't pay anything
You
extra.
choose that one time there, and
Right.
that's what you want to
Absolutely.
donate to when you make your purchases. And
Yes.
then from then on out, whenever you're buying on Amazon, you got
And
to
they
do a
don't
donation.
and they don't charge you anything more. They don't ask for anything more. They just go
Right.
ahead and give that to
Right.
you.
And remember also, every one of these houses, now we need to put furniture in. So we need to be able to have a bed. We're looking at twin beds, like captain beds with the drawers in there. Everything's very basic, very simple. Because again, like Dave said, the day you show up, we're planning on you leaving. We don't want you to get too comfortable there, because we want you to be able to get back out into the community, and we want to model sustainable independence, not dependence. So that's our plan.
And we're working with the Ashland Housing Development Corporation as a collaboration, and we're partnering with our builder because we want to build affordable housing in that area.
And he mentioned our builder, again, another volunteer. He never has charged us one bit. We've had people that have stepped up and come out and brought crews out and never charged us. It's amazing.
That's awesome. I wish we had all day to talk about this. Unfortunately, we don't, but we need to make sure folks know the website again. So if they want to reach out and see what you're all about, what's the website?
sssvp.org.
3 S's, vp.org.
Yep. And take a look at Facebook, because it's Samson Strength Sustainable Veterans Project on Facebook, and that's updated just about daily.
All right. Well, thank you for the work that you're doing.
Thank you for having us on.
Thank you for having
and
us
thank
on.
you for all the work you do here in the
Yes.
community, too.
Hope y'all have a wonderful Christmas down there.
Sure.
All right.
Thank you.
We'll be back in just a moment. We will have the Crime Stoppers segment of the show and our Crazy Criminal of the Week on Calhoun County's Most Wanted. All right, it's time for the Crime Stoppers segment of the show. We've got several property crimes that we hope you can help us fill in the blanks on. November 18th, between 8 a.m. and 1 p.m., 2 homes on Mud Street in Ohatchee were burglarized. A Verizon tablet, a laptop, an Apple tablet, women's jewelry including a Rolex watch, 3 handguns, and a lockbox with personal documents were taken from the homes. On November 20th, around 12:30 a.m., a white male was seen attempting to break into a vehicle parked at a residence on Mud Street in Lincoln. The suspect ran away when he saw the homeowner. Between November 18th and November 22nd, an outbuilding was burglarized at a residence on Cobb City Road in Wellington. 2 new Cobalt socket sets and 3 long guns were taken. On November 25th, a package delivered to a residence on Old Sulphur Springs Road in Wellington was stolen from the front porch. A suspicious gray Nissan Altima was seen in the driveway. On November 25th, a home on Duke Road in Wellington was burglarized. Items stolen included 2 pair of boots, a hunting outfit, and a .40 caliber Taurus pistol. Between November 1st and November 26th, the red riding mower was stolen from a residence on New Liberty Road in Jacksonville. Between November 23rd and November 29th, 3 game cameras and a corn feeder were stolen from a location on New Liberty Road in Jacksonville. Can you help us solve any of those cases? If so, please call Calhoun County Crime Stoppers at 256-238-1414.
Stupid! You're so stupid!
All right, Sheriff, you're familiar, I'm sure, with the phrase "crime doesn't pay."
Yep.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah, it doesn't.
All right, so we got an individual that would disagree with that. He led some officers on a high-speed chase in Indiana recently, and now they're asking for the public's help in finding him. Have you seen this tattoo? He says crime pays. He's got it written on his forehead. That does make it a little bit easier to ask for the public's help, doesn't it?
It does. That stands out. Yes, it does. It's a little hard to hide there. So, not the best decision I think he's ever made, but he might think it's the best. I don't know.
Yeah, he may think it looks good. And
He may. Each your own.
we're not necessarily encouraging people to go out and get that kind of a tattoo, but it does make your job easier.
Yeah, we don't encourage people to do that, but that does make our job very, I ain't gonna say very easy, but it makes it much easier. And as it says, nobody wants to be labeled in life, but he just labeled himself.
Yeah, it's going to be tough to change professions, isn't it?
Yes, that's tough to get a job with that on your forehead.
At least people know who they're dealing with, so there's that.
That's true.
All right. Well, that's all the time that we've got for this week. We will be looking for you again next week, but hopefully not with a crime pays tattoo, or really any tattoo across your forehead. That's not the best, not where I would choose to put
Not where I would choose. Some people like that.
All right. Thanks. We'll see you next week.